Hello Pisces, thank you very much for tuning into your love read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Already shuffled, we're going to do relationship first, single second. Almost a different word popped out there. I almost said religion, and I'm like, why? Oracle cards come out where needed. Yeah, I think we just want the... Nah, we just want the one. Okay. So, Pisces. Pisces in relationships. You seem to be holding your ground at the moment is the first thing that I'm getting. You are holding your ground, but I also see that what's helping you is the shadow side, and you're questioning how far you want to go with this. That's what if this is connecting, of course. I feel like you're holding your ground. 7 of Wands. I do feel like you're holding your ground. But again, but this is also kind of like a successful field for me a little bit, except this is a little different in this deck. There's a lot good coming out of this. There's a lot of things coming to fruition by you holding your ground. But again, I'm feeling like you're questioning how far you really want to go with that. You know, how far can you really get before there's like some type of repercussion. And your challenge card is to be a little bit like the King of Wands as your challenge card is to say, you're doing well now, you seem to have control now, but it's kind of like, how does this play out later? You know, the emperor, or not the emperor, the ruler who has more compassion for those they rule over, when times aren't the best, they seem to do better, if you know what I mean. So, and I feel like that's like the challenge card, like how far are you really going to take this? You seem to be doing well. And I see your partner just kind of like watching what you're doing. They seem to be more going along with what you want. They're not getting in your way, but I do get that there's like a balance here. I do get that there's something here that seems to go, like whatever you're doing, it seems to be like putting your partner in a weird spot. I do feel this weird energy because I actually see them like letting you do what you want a little bit. Almost like, when I say letting you do that, I mean that in the sense of like I don't feel like they're challenging it. Like that's something you want to do, that's something you're going to do. I don't see them giving you a lot of hard time over it. A lot of you know what I mean? A lot of guff, anything. But I am noticing with the 10 of Swords in their challenge position, like something about this they don't like. Something about this situation they don't like. For some of you, I feel like this is a work situation. And something about this work situation is kind of pulling you away from them. And I feel like there's something about this they don't like. Like they don't like something they're seeing here. You're both seeming to relate to this like this is just how it is for some reason. You have the Hanged Man. They have the 8 of Swords. It's almost like they feel like they don't have the... I don't want to say the power, but like... They really shouldn't be challenging you with this. Like, if they challenge you with this, it causes different problems. They seem a little conflicted with this. And I'm seeing you with the Hanged Man kind of like, this can't keep going like it is. Part of you seems to get that right away. Like, the way it's going, something is pulling you away. Something is... It's definitely something you're fighting for and you're keeping it online. But I'm getting, like, over time, if it goes too far, there's going to be a counterbalance to this. There definitely will be. And even though you got the Hanged Man, you also have the High Priestess on your side, kind of like, well, alright, let me think. If I just let this keep going the way it is, it will keep going. Like it's almost like rolling a ball down a hill. It's like this hill goes forever. If I just let the ball keep rolling, it'll keep rolling down the hill, and it'll just keep going until it gets to the end. The question is, what is the end? It's like one of those hills that goes so far, you're like, I don't know where this really ends. But do I want to let this ball just take a lift of its own and just see where it goes? Or do I want to kind of get a hold of this ball, kind of play with it a little bit, and then, you know, maybe change direction or do something else with it? That's the situation. The situation, if I let it just keep going, something's going to happen here. Do I want to just leave it up to fate? Or do I want to kind of get in there and try to, you know, create an ending that I'm looking for, create the next chapter the way I want it to go? The next chapter isn't close, but I'm feeling like this is setting up what the next chapter will be. Now, your partner, like I always say these two cards are like best friends. The Empress and the the High Priestess. Like, your partner, that's the kicker here. Whatever you're doing, they don't seem to think it's a bad thing. They seem to be in agreement, like, you got to do what you got to do, but I feel like the control is on your side. And the thing is, like, realizing the way it's going, if it just keeps going naturally without it being checked, there's going to be some type of balance later. And by the time you figure it out, it might be too late. This is the time to get a hold of the situation because you're defending something, you're holding it, you're keeping it going. Your partner's letting it be. They're not really challenging it. They're leaving it up to you to do something. They're not really challenging you. They got peace on their side. They seem to be in the same boat, feeling like this is how it has to be for now. And I do feel like that's correct. For right now, yeah, that this is how it has to be. But you're in a position now to plan going forward. In the next month or two, what needs to change? Is this a work situation where work is taking up a lot of your time? And if you just leave it unchecked, it's not only taking up a lot now, it might take up even more later, causing like some erosion to your relationship. Or do you want to kind of start to fix that now and be like, you know what, I need to create better boundaries? There's a lot of people who have problems. Like, it's really hard for people to create boundaries when it comes to work. They feel like if I start creating boundaries, I'm going to lose opportunities. And they're like, well, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot with my career. People can create boundaries with their career. It's just planning ahead, and letting people know what you're connected to and what you're not. And sometimes being a little political and like setting up things where you're busy doing this, you're busy doing that, and maybe the people you work for don't know that you've set aside time for family, but maybe what you put on your calendar is something else, so they don't realize that you're spending time with family. They think it's business oriented. I know that sounds a little bit less than honest, but you know what? The way the corporate world goes, there's a lot of snakes. So I'm sorry, but you gotta sometimes you have to put things on your calendar that other people can see and let them believe it's a work thing when it's actually not. It's more of a family thing, but that way they can't challenge that time and they don't really give you a hard time about it. I know people that are successful that have done that. That way people are off their back. They're not accused of not being a part of the work thing or not being solely centered on work, which I'm not a fan of anyway, but that's a whole nother story. Anything else with this? Your partner seems to be trying to hold it together. They seem to be kind of like, it's interesting because they're kind of standing with you. But the thing is, with them standing with you and allowing you to do this, to just keep going the way you want to, it literally puts the ball completely in your court. And you got to look ahead. You got to look ahead. Like, what's happening now, I feel like your partner isn't very comfortable with, but in the next couple months, you're going to be setting forth a pattern. And the question is, are you going to be happy with it or not? Because the Ace of Pentacles is coming in with the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is kind of somebody who holds reserve what they're doing. I'm not saying you're going to be able to fix the situation or make it better in the next couple months, but in the next couple months, it's going to set up to, like, what are you going to do going forward? Is this situation going to suck more time from you, or are you going to reinvest some of that time more into your partner? And I think we're good. It's completely leaving it in your court. I'm seeing it there. Okay, so I think we're good with that. Let's do Pisces single. What do we have for single Pisces? Messages for single Pisces. What do we have for single Pisces? Yeah. I did shuffle them a bit before we started, so I guess that's fine. Oh, the King of Cups is at the bottom. I have a feeling it might be you that's not really sure in this one. There's somebody. There's definitely somebody. There's a big cup going on here. You got the Knight of Cups. You got the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. You got the Knight of Pentacles in the center. Cups and Pentacles seem to get along well, in my opinion. You got the King of Cups in the past. There's a lot of cups. There's a lot of pentacles. I'm feeling like the things might be going really slow. And I feel like that might confuse you. I'm having that feeling. Things are going very slow, and you might be confused about that. All right. Now, I'm seeing the the King of Pentacles in the past. I feel like you're at a position where something seems to have changed. For those of you this is hitting with, I really feel like you've gone through some type of audit, some type of self-audit, some type of empowerment, kind of like, you know what, this is what I've been dealing with up to this point. Whether it be past relationships or the lack of that. You're like, this is what I've had up to this point, and this is why I think this is happening. So if you're attracting a certain type of person, or you seem to end up with a certain type of person, you're really like owning that, kind of like, you know what, when I first meet these people, it's my choice whether to continue on with them or not. And I'm seeing this type of thing, and at first I think I like that, and then in the long run, it's not a good attitude. It's almost like when you start to get to know somebody, you think somebody's just a little edgy, and it's kind of entertaining, it's kind of, titillating maybe. But after like 4 or 5 months, you're like, no, they're just a jerk. You're like, they're not edgy, they're just a jerk. It's like it's not as cool anymore. Or maybe they're a little not cold, what's the word, sarcastic. You think they're sarcastic in the beginning, and later you see that they're more belittling than sarcastic. Like, it's one of those things. It's like in the beginning there's a certain behavior I like, but it turns out over time it's not a good behavior. You're owning things. You've audited and you looked at, like, whatever it is. Maybe you've had the lack of relationships and you're like, you know what, maybe I'm not giving things a fair enough chance. Maybe things don't last very long because I move on before I give things a chance. But you're putting yourself in the power position. Like, what have I been choosing? Because I've had the choice to go forward or not go forward with certain people in the past. And why am I choosing what I'm choosing? Because I don't like where I am. I'm going to change how I'm choosing. Okay, so this is a good place to start from, because I feel a lot of power with this. And I'm seeing justice, like, justice is saying, for good or for bad, you're owning your piece of it. When you're getting involved with people or you're pulling somebody into your life, you literally have the choice if they're going to be a part of your life or not. You're kind of like, it's kind of like, what are you attracting? Some of that's going on there, law of attraction and all that good stuff. So you're auditing it. You're owning it. This is putting you in a power position to get what you really want. I think you're actually coming towards a really good person. When I'm seeing this King of Cups at the bottom, I almost feel like you have a really good chance of finding a good relationship, but it's the way it's coming in. It may not feel like that's exactly what you have just to start off with. Because in the center, you've got the Knight of Pentacles with the Sun card. There's a really good connection here. Something feels really, really good. Somebody pops into your life, and the Knight of Pentacles is telling me, I feel like this person is making it go slow. Ironically, I'm not convinced that they're an earth sign, but it's the energy that they're coming in with. Like, for some reason, and I'm feeling like they might be a little gun shy for one reason or another, but there's a very good connection here, a very positive connection here. I feel like the interest is equal, but the interest is kind of like taking it slow on the other side. Ironically, I do feel like they want the same type of things as you. I'm feeling like they want to connect with somebody that they can hang out with, one-on-one, but also include in, like family things or in like friend things. They like to be more social. They want somebody who's going to easily connect with that, but they don't want like a flash in the pan. They want to slowly start integrating things. That's what they're looking for. They want a romance like that, to where, we can do things together. They're looking for somebody who's a match like that. And I'm feeling like they like you. They see a lot of potential with you. And karma is a lot of times, it's also the Judgment card in a lot of decks, which is, I'm getting like they're saying judgment can go in your favor. Staying together with this, holding strong, because this is like I feel like this is someone who's not going to quite, like, it's not going to be like a firecracker ignition where you just light the firecracker and boom, there it goes. This is going to be kind of like, bringing water to a boil. It's going to take a while. You got to wait for it to warm up enough. This is like bringing water to a boil is what I'm feeling. And I'm getting here that this other person, they do really like you. They do very much like you, but they're not going to allow it to go too fast. I feel like they've been burned in the past like that, and they're just going to be like, we're going to go slowly, we're going to take our time with this. But I don't see a lot of conversation with that. So I feel like that's the kicker here. They are going slow. They are interested in more, but instead of really communicating that, they're just kind of letting you be around them once in a while. Like you might see them once a week or maybe once every other week in the beginning. Could be once every other week in the beginning. They're very careful about who they let in their life. I feel like this person is a very sensitive person, but they're very strong at the same time. They don't let people see that gooey center very often. And they're looking for somebody to share that with, but they want to know they can trust that person, but they want to slowly get used to somebody to make sure, who they're dealing with. Like, it's not just a physical attraction, that there's more there. It's very much like, I've given this analogy recently, like a crock pot recipe. Like, it usually cooks all day, but by the time you get to the end of that, it's really good, it's really worth it. Naturally, assuming the recipe is worth it, I give you that. This is an interesting combination. You got the Five of Wands with the gratitude here. Things are not going to be going exactly the way you want to in the future. But justice is also coming in, and it's saying, pay attention. What is different here? Because this is going to be different than what you're used to. This connection I feel like you're going to be very conflicted. You're going to have a lot of uncertainty, like where do you really stand? If they really like me, how come they don't want to see me more? Oh, that's what this is. That's what this is. I feel like the Five of Wands is not... I don't feel like it's literal argument. It could be. But if it is literal arguments, I'm sorry, but this is how it's coming through, and you're starting them. Sorry if that seems rude, but that's the way it's coming through. And I'm saying that I am a Pisces myself. I'm actually a single Pisces myself, and I'm thinking about this, like, I can see these moments when I've just been a little bit insecure, and things come out of my mouth, and I have started arguments, not wanting to, not trying to, not looking to, but then later on realizing, well, I did say that, and if somebody said that to me, I can see where I'd be a little bit bent out of shape, so I kind of did that to myself. So I'm just saying my own humility. Take it or leave it. Doesn't mean this whole reading's going to hit perfectly for you, but I think as Pisces, if you're Pisces like I am, sometimes you kind of start an argument and you don't realize you did until after because something hurt your feelings and you just kind of call it out, and then somebody else gets offended, like that's not at all what's going on here. It's a misinterpretation of events type of thing. But either way, because I feel like this person doesn't want to hang out with you as much, you're taking that as if they don't like you that much, and you might be getting a little upset about that. You might be, another thing that could happen here is like they want to hang out with you once every week or two, and you're kind of like brushing it off and you're kind of like walking away from it. They're saying don't do that at this point. Give it a chance. Let this person set the stage. Let this person set how it's going to go. Power goes more in your favor later. Things even out more later. They're going to like be more connected with you. But like for the first 3 or 4 months, if this is hitting for you, let them set it. If it's once a week or once every 2 weeks, let it build because this is worth it. I feel like the Five of Wands is like it makes you uncomfortable, but they're saying be thankful for what this is because I feel like if this is really connecting, when you do hang out, it is a lot of fun. It feels really good. The only reason the Five of Wands is here is because it feels so good that you want more of it, and you're confused why it's only once in a while, like wondering like is this just a side thing for you? I feel like they're not really integrating you into their main life. Like they're not introducing you to people the first 3 or 4 months either, which may make you a little uncomfortable, kind of like, is this really going anywhere, or is this just I'm for fun and you don't really want to know, you want people to know I exist, like what's the deal? That could be a little bit of a conflict too. It's going to be like 3 or 4 months before they're comfortable enough to pull you in, because when they pull somebody into their life, they do that because they want somebody to stay. And they feel like not only do they want you to stay, they feel like you will stay. It's going to be like 3 to 4 months. I feel like it's uncomfortable, but hopefully for the people this is hitting with, you see it for what it is. And when it happens, you're like, all right, well, I'll give this 3 to 4 months, but then we'll see. So that way maybe it gives you some strength. Because I'm getting literally 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months. It's like you got the Ten of Wands with the Five of Pentacles. I feel like this is this is part of this. This is part of that 3 to 4 month time frame. I feel like this is why this is here. And I haven't shown you the best part yet. I'm still holding off on that. I'm a little jerk with that. It's stressful for you, the Ten of Wands, but you're surviving through it. You're feeling the lack. You want to be around this person more. You're feeling it for this person, is what I'm getting. But the wisdom is like, just take it slowly, let it go. You know, see what this really is. Is this really worth it? I feel like it can be a little unnerving for a lot of people because it feels like, am I wasting my time? Is something really going to happen here? Is this person just, you know, am I just like a side interest? It's really like, I don't feel like there's a lot of questions that aren't being answered, and it seems like there's a really good connection, but you only see this person once in a while, and they don't integrate you into their life, and it's making you wonder, like, what am I doing here? And you want more, you kind of want to reach for more, you're ready for more, but I feel like this is really building a firm base. It's building a very strong base. Ironically, and I'll show you this now, they have the Knight of Cups and the realization, like, they do feel very strongly for you. They're not convinced it's going to last the test of time is the only thing. Like, they're going to start seeing you. If they pull you right into their life, you'll be around for a couple months, then you'll disappear, and they're like, well, that's not what I want. And I feel like there's probably a little bit of pressure around them with their friends and possibly their family with, like, you know, if you're just going to have somebody around for a couple months, why are you introducing them to everybody? Like, you know, give it some time. Like, give it a few months to decide if that's really going to survive. I feel like that's kind of what's going on their side. And as it keeps going forward and the strength of this relationship gets stronger, and I know that you're single, but they're looking at this like building a relationship. The realization of what they really want from you is coming in stronger and stronger for them. The Seven of Pentacles and the Fool card is how this ends. This will finally push forward when you're already so kind of connected. Like, I feel like there's going to be, by time this really moves forward, even though you may be seeing each other once a week or every other week, even if that's when you're physically seeing each other, you seem to be talking almost every night. If it's by text or by phone, like you're communicating a lot at this point. And I feel like by the time it finally kicks forward, I almost feel like it's not really a surprise, but like you're very comfortable with this person when it finally moves forward. That's the Seven of Pentacles. Like, the Seven of Pentacles makes me feel like, you know, there's a lot here between the two of you. You know a lot about each other. Even though you've only seen each other like once every week or once every other week, over this time of 3 to 4 months, you've really gotten to know this person. And even though you're physically probably only seeing each other that much, I feel like the communication is improving more and more over time. You're talking more and more over time. And it feels very comfortable when it moves forward. It's not like a snap, pow, shock. I don't feel like you're shocked when it moves forward. I actually feel like when it does move forward, you're a little like nervous because you want people to like you, and you're like, you've really gotten connected to this person. You're realizing this person is ready. And now I feel like there's a little bit of nerves there. It's not bad, but it's kind of like you've heard about these people. At this point, you've heard about these people, and there's an event that they want to invite you with, and now you're kind of going to it, and you're going there. It takes a long time. It's like 3 to 4 months is what I'm saying. But like when it finally goes forward, it's kind of like, all right, let's see where this goes. It's one of those things. It's very interesting. There's the King of Cups is here at the bottom. Like, the love is there. Don't get caught up in the gender, of course, but I feel like this is good. It's just the way it's starting, it just might be different than you're used to. And I actually feel like a lot of you might be really uncomfortable with this and have a chance of like walking away from something that could be really good, because the way it kind of goes so slowly and it seems to leave you out in the land of mystery. You're kind of like, this doesn't feel good to me. I don't want to do this. I'm afraid that this is me wasting my time. I feel like this isn't wasting your time. This is kind of resetting the clock in a sense and like giving you a chance at something that could really last. It's just doing it differently and going through this uncomfortable time to really build something that will stick. All right, that's what I got. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.